last thing we need to look at is money and coin word problems, or just word problems in general. The key thing is that you want to make sure that you are doing some pretty basic steps. But before we can get into them, we do want to make sure that when we're talking about money, we note how much everything is worth. So remember that a quarter is 25 cents, a dime was 10 cents, a nickel is 5 cents, and pennies are 1 cent. That's the easy part. Most people know those things. And most people know how to write it as a decimal, but we do tend to struggle a little bit. So we want to remember that a quarter is 0.25, a dime is 0.10. The nickel's where it gets tricky. We got to remember to put the 0 in front of it. It's 5/100ths of a dollar, so it's 5.05 in decimal form. Same thing with a penny. It's 1/100th of a dollar, so it's 0.01. So let's take a look at this example. Randy has 83 coins in all, consisting of dimes and quarters. The value of the coins in dollars is $10.70. How many of each coin does he have? So some key pieces in here is that we have 83 coins, and that consists of dimes and quarters for a value of $10.70 in dollars. And then they want to know how many of each coin does he have? The first thing you're going to want to do is label what is X and what is Y. And that's just what you're talking about. What are your two unknowns? So for this, it's the number of dimes and the number of quarters. It does not matter which one you label as X and which one you label as Y, as long as you are consistent throughout the problem. The next thing we need to do is start making some equations. So we see that 83 and 1070 were the two key pieces of information in our problem. So those are our two equal signs. So we're going to be equal to 830. Sorry, it's messing up here. It's going to be equal to 83 coins and then $10.70. The 83 amounts to how many physical coins we have. We don't actually care how much the coins are worth. We just care that we have them. So it's just X plus Y. 1070 puts in how much our coins are worth. So that's where we need to add in that a dime is worth 10 cents and a quarter is worth 25 cents. Then there's two ways to solve this. We can solve it as is, or we can rewrite our second equation in terms of pennies instead of the dollars. But let's leave it the way it is for this first try. So I need to make an opposite pair. So I'm going to multiply this by negative 0.10 so that I can solve by elimination. So that's negative 0.10x minus 0.10y is equal to negative 830. Then I'm going to write my other equation down with it. And then just like in elimination, okay, that's what we're using, we add those together. The 0.10 and negative 0.10 will cancel. This will become 0.15y, and it will equal to 2.4. It's not very good for. Whoops. Then we will simply divide by 0.15 so that we get that y is equal to 16. That means that we have 16 quarters in our possession. Now I need to find the other piece. They wanted to know how many of each coin we have. So now I need to figure out the number of dimes. To do that, I'm simply going to take my 16, plug it in for y into the first equation. I use the first equation because it's just x plus y, so it makes it very easy to just say x plus 16 equals 83 minus the 16, and I see that x will be equal to 67. So that means I have 67 dimes. Then you can write your sentence. Randy has 67 dimes and 16 quarters. To solve it using pennies instead of dollars, your equations would just be x plus y equals 83, and then it'd be 10x plus 25y equals to 1070. You would just multiply that entire second equation by 10, and that, or by 100, sorry, by 100, and that would just take away your decimals, and then you would just do the same thing. It would just be, everything wouldn't have a decimal instead of. You just need to make sure that you change everything. A lot of people forget to change that second total of $10.70. So they do 10x plus 25y equals $10.70, and that will not give you the right answer. So you do want to make sure to change all the things that need to change. All right. So now I want you to try this problem. So Louisa has 11 nickels and dimes whose total value is 90 cents. How many coins of each kind does she have? So go ahead and make sure you define your variables, set up your equations, and then solve. And those are your key steps to solving a word problem.